MPU 485 Capstone project, I'd like to do a short film. Now, I have done a lot of the organization process in terms of like what are my jobs, what's my role, and how I learn and how this tests my strengths and weaknesses in the program. So, first beginning with the project and like what I'm going to do. I divided the project roles myself into two main roles. First main role I want to start off talking about is my role as a producer, or more so executive producer of the show, or of the movie. So originally, the director and writer of the film, his name's Trace Houston. He gave me the script actually in the spring semester of last year, and he knew that I was wanting to get into film. I had the Cardinal Film Fights channel, and by the way, if you don't know what Cardinal Film Fights is, it's a YouTube channel where you can film and TV. You should go watch it. And sorry, I had to talk to the camera. Shameless plug. And so I got in touch with him around this semester when I knew I was applying for grad schools, which is another thing I really wanted to do this project for film school, and I wanted to build up my portfolio. I want to put this script into action. Just a real quick description of the film itself. I want to get to more of like my role, but the film is basically, it's 6 pages, so it'll be around 5 minutes 30 seconds to 6 minutes to 6 minutes 30 seconds. But it's about a guy who around mid-20s who's hoping to audition for a role as a mechanic, but when he tries to get to the audition place, his car doesn't start. So what does he do? None other than look at the script to figure out how to fix the car. And so he tries to fix the car, he gets it to work, but then the car doesn't work, he loses his keys, he has to ride his bike all the way to the place where he has to audition. He's 20 minutes late, all sweaty and greased up, and the guy who's auditioning him loves it because he's perfect for the part, obviously. He arrives up 20 minutes late, and he's all like greased up, and so that's how the film is. So as a producer, my job is to produce, plan, and coordinate the entire film. And so as for the task involved as that role as a producer, I'm setting the meeting times, scheduling the pre-production meetings, hiring the cast, and locking down locations is my primary role. I'm kind of also dishing out tasks to other people as well. I reviewed the director's script and given some of my notes as well. I've taken some screenwriting classes, and we're all arranged some of the tasks of each meeting. So this Thursday we're going to do what's called a Sitz Probe, where we all sit around, pick apart, and we read the script, kind of tear it down bit by bit and say like, how's the pacing, does everything work, and then we'll lock down the script, move on to pre-production of the shoot. So that's kind of a little bit of a rush version of what that producer part is. But I knew we live in our program is music media production and industry, and so learning how to like kind of run the business of the entertainment world and being able to have that coordination techniques, that's something I've been really good at with my time at Ball State. That's something I want to show. So yeah, then the second, of course, media production is produce all sound for the film. That's as daunting as it sounds. I am coordinating all the logistics of the sound for the production itself, which is a pre-production task. So I'm going to go to these sets that we're going to be looking at, which we already have like most of them locked down. I think we have all of them, but maybe just one more left that we have to get. And then I'm going to coordinate the logistics of the sound and recording there. So is there a room sound? Is it very echoey? Or is it too small, we're not going to fit a boom pole? Like things like that I'm going to have to plan out, so then when we plan the shoot, I'll have these notes ahead of time so we can make it run as smooth as possible. Then record the actual sound on set. Now, we're going to be using up to like actual Rode NTG2 shotgun mics with boom poles and blimps and dead cat around it in case we're doing outdoor scenes as well. I also have a Rode VideoMic Pro for my own Canon, which does very good. It's a hypercardioid condenser with a minus 10 dB pad and a plus 20 dB pad, and with those Canon preamps, you need that plus 20 dB pad. And record on sound on set during production. Yeah, that involves hitting the record button, make sure it all sounds. I'll be monitoring it as well. Again, I have a external recorder for that. Then the next thing for the producing of the sound is going to be the mix and edit stage for the sound during the post-production. And so what we'll be doing, and this is what we talked about in our individual meeting, is we'll each be getting our own, not so much share, but we're all going to have the footage in terms of video and sound for, basically for my own reasons. I'm going to be trying to get this production done by the end of the year, obviously. And so I'm going to be doing some of the video editing as well to the best of my ability, but most importantly, the sound editing. So once I have all of the necessary video cuts made first, and then any added color correction, special effects, which I know a little bit of special effects, but it's mostly just for like pacing. I will be doing the sound, mixing and editing, and that'll be anything I captured on set, any supplemental sounds that are going to be needed. So if I need to like go to a sound library and say, okay, well, when he shuts this door, either the mic cut out, or we just don't have it, or it's too loud or too quiet and I can't boost it up. So I'll put in additional supplemental sound from either a third-party sound library, or I'll grab my Tascam, go to my door, and record that happening and do the effects and make that sound as good as I can. And I'll talk about sort of the sound design process that I've thought about in this film as well. So add any necessary supplemental sounds, and also master the audio to 5.1 DVD quality, so then we can have sort of a viewing for our presentation. And I can talk about the necessary steps into mastering audio. Now that is something that I have little experience doing, and that's something I'm going to be learning more about. I'm already planning on talking to a few people about that, and getting that knowledge and experience, and have that end result for you. So those are the two main jobs in my two main roles that I'm taking on for this project, being the producer, and then also just, there's not really a role name, but I would say Chief Sound. I just call it Chief Sound, I guess, because I'm doing like the editing, the mixing, as well as the recording and boom pole and all that kind of stuff. So just Chief Sound and producer. So I've developed a little bit of a timeline just to see what the kind of the pacing is for this. Of course, in normal film, you're always going to do this into three major steps: pre-production, production, and post-production. So the pre-production, we're actually almost done. What we did starting at our first meeting was we got a list of gear that we need, that we have, and a list of gear that we need and we don't have. And so one of the things is we don't have a Rode shotgun mic. We have a lot of mount mics, we don't have a shotgun mic. Luckily, our director is actually part of a class, a video seminar, where you can get it in the teleplex, and so we have that. So then assign specific jobs to crew, like I said, who wants to be director of photography, who wants to be boom mic, or who wants to be just a cam op, and dish out those jobs. Find a cast and location, which I have done that. We have a actor who's ready to go for the film, and we have locations. Solidify script, cast, and locations. Again, this is just the final process. That'll be mainly for tomorrow's meeting. We meet, pre-production meetings are every week on Thursday from 6 to 7, just about an hour long. And then schedule the shoot. And so that'll either be tomorrow or next week, and we'll schedule the shoot for either sometime in early, mid-September. So for the 9-week mark, I can show you guys the raw footage. So the production, it'll be the coordinate and schedule, plans to the director, cast, and crew. That'll be a whole thing on its own, but just to make sure that we are doing 3-day stretch of just purely recording. There's morning scenes, there's night scenes, there's day scenes, so we've got to plan out with the weather. Shoot and record each scene as specified per director for the locations. The director has a final say on each cut, and so then I will be capturing the sound of the space and the scene takes place in for necessary audio cuts and transitions, test and monitor audio levels, signal for live dialogue and effects, record audio for the live dialogue and effects, and again, monitor any captured footage and coordinate any immediate necessary reshoots, whether for video or sound purposes, and then we wrap production, and that's that. So then the post-production will be probably the longest process. That'll be review any captured footage, both audio and video, with the director and the crew, all of us watching it, and so we can all make a decision, okay, this definitely needs to be reshot, or this doesn't look very good, let's scrap it from the editing stage. And then make any notes of specific takes and scenes that were in the shot, and then discuss editing strategies with the coordinated video editor, which again, we're each getting all the video content, so it's more or less we're all gonna have our own cut. Mine will just be for the project purposes, but also then for past the project, we're gonna have our pool our cuts together and see which one works the best. Maybe mine will make it, maybe it won't, I don't know. Then receive first or second draft of the editor's cut, review draft, and send back to editors with notes and some adjustments. Again, this would be for the case in case I was working with an external video editor who then would get his draft back to me for the sound editing, and I would look at the video footage, and before I even start, be like, hey, don't know if you noticed this, but there's like a frame of black before it cuts to this scene, so if you could just fix that, then I'll get started. So then receive the final draft of the editor's cut, begin the mixing editing stage, add any necessary supplemental sounds from third-party sources, complete first draft of edit, send it to the director for review, since I'll be the last thing before the director gets the final say. Receive back the draft and make adjustments, complete final draft, send for the final cut, and then possibly schedule a test viewing for you guys, maybe. So That'll be it's a lot of information in terms of the timeline that I have planned out, but this is sort of the pacing has been going very quickly and very smoothly so far. Obviously, with entertainment and media, that's never the case, so I will keep that in mind. I just have one more section. Are we still good on time? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last thing then I just want to talk about is like projected artifacts that could keep updating you guys so that you know like what kind of progress I'm making. So for the start in the pre-production, I was thinking about uploading my meeting logs. Like I'm the type of person that I open up a link Microsoft Word and I just write everything down to talk about the meeting. So I'll have an agenda before the meeting and then fill in all those blanks for what we talk about, any issues we run into, like, hey, I have the script ready, but I actually need another week to review it. Or this actor does want to be in the film, but he's only available this one weekend in September. So things like that I'll fill in and I'll upload those meeting logs to like either Box or possibly a Blackboard site. Storage for captured footage. This would be after we would do our shoot. Now it would probably be just like one big upload since we're going to try to do our shoot condensed into one long stretch of shooting just to get it done. So it'll probably be a day. Dr. Billy and I talked, and it'll be September 27th, hopefully it'll be the 9-week mark when I have all that raw footage for a presentation. And I have sent a interlibrary loan to get Vanessa Ament's book on Foley work and sound design, things that could help me since even though I have some experience in that realm, something that I could definitely learn more on in terms of the post-production, which will be the long process. And yeah, that's what I got. So, any questions, guys?
That's pretty detailed.
Yeah.
Thanks. Cool.